Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
I'm not even going to try to fake the funk. Y'all know usually I'm bright and chipper. Good morning, everybody. I can't do it this morning. I'm tired. No, but good morning, everyone. Good morning. We are here this morning in the Java Cafe. I'm trying to get myself together. I am tired. We are in a sort of impromptu Java with Jimmy this morning because there is a wonderful event tomorrow. And these folks that I'm going to bring in the room in just a few minutes have been working for a while. They actually had to postpone the event due to the weather. And if you've been downtown near the Greenway, or if you're on social media, or if you just breathe, you know that there's a mural going up on the Kennedy Greenway. And these folks that I'm about to introduce are coming in to talk about the event tomorrow, but just talk about the event. There is Rob. I see you, sir. So we're going to go ahead and bring our guest in. We got Rob. Hopefully we'll get him. We got him. Rob, you might have to turn your camera on. And we got Ola, and also we got Audrey, and we're going to have them introduce themselves in just a couple of seconds. But Rob, we can hear you, I think. There you go. So, all right, can we just have a private moment for a minute? I've been trying to get this brother in the room. He's been so busy. And if you turn toward the window, I think you'd be good. The light towards you.
Yes, a little dark.
So you all can already see now. I'm going to ask you all to do me a favor because these folks deserve as much attention as possible. So the four of you that are on right now, I know folks know we're not on a Friday, but hit share real quick and invite folks into the room. And I know you can go back and have folks watch it later, but I want to make sure that we get this information out there about this wonderful event. So let's start with ladies first. I know Ola, so Audrey, we'll start with you, and then we'll go with Ola, and then well, we'll figure out if we're calling him Pro or Rob or Audrey. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having us on. I'm so excited to be here with y'all. My name's Audrey Lopez, pronouns she, her, they, them, and I am Director and Curator of Public Art at the Rose Kennedy Greenway. I just started in September 2021, so new to Boston, learning my way around, and I couldn't have landed with better partners than Rob and Ola and Derek over at Chevu. So I just want to say thanks so much and happy to be here.
Awesome. Ola, please introduce yourself.
I know, right? Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be on this show. Thank you, brother. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Yes, my name is Ola Akiwumi. I go by Alaska Boston. Creative director of Afro City, which is my other hat, but I do other things in the city. And I am just honored. It's a pleasure to help curate, to plan this wonderful celebration for Mr. Black.
Yes. So so now Ola, you made it worse because
sorry.
Folks do with
I kind of blanked out. I was just
like, they say, do I call you James? Do I call you Jimmy? And so Rob, Pro, what are we calling you this morning?
You can just call me Rob, man.
Okay.
Pro Black is everybody's name. You know what I mean? So
yes, sir, Rob, and we go way back to the dreads and way back before you, and always a wonderful, humble dude. But speaking of way back, look who's in the room.
Oh, my brother.
Yo, can I tell you, all branding, all this here, except for the face, he won't take credit for that, but that's all props. This is all props, man. So him. But we wanted to jump in. Rob, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And then we'll have Audrey and Ola sort of set the context to why at the Greenway. But tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Wow, where could I start? First off, what's up, everybody in the room? Family, this is a family affair.
Yes, sir.
I'm a big brother to the city. I go by the name of Rob Gibbs, but the streets know me as Pro Black. Pro is for Black is my people. I'm a Roxbury born and raised native. You know, been a part of Boston all my life. Traveled the world in the 7 seas, and I've been walking and talking the talk and living this lifestyle through the lens of hip hop, letting people around the nation know that there's Black people in Boston. You feel me? And this is how we get down. So this is going to be an amazing event. This is an amazing time that I'm sharing with everybody in the chat. And I want to big up Audrey for like coming through and tapping into this side of Boston, because I don't know if the Greenway is ready to witness and see what's about to happen in the next 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? So some big things are going down. The streets are talking. We've done something that we're very proud about, to welcome folks to the city. The vibration is real, man. So big ups.
Yes, sir. And listen, from the next 24 hours, something is going on. And then 24 hours before, we had a local community podcaster at the ICA. And I think you all can appreciate, you know, the ICA, folks can in general, but as you guys are artists and familiar with the ICA, we did the broadcast there last night. And we talked about the equitable spaces and access and Black art and creatives in Boston. And so, Audrey, let me ask you, how did you say, I mean, I kind of know why and how, but I mean, there's no disrespect to anybody else, but how did you settle on Rob, the concept? And I mean, Rob is right. You come into Boston and you see that right there. And Rob can tell us who the imagery is of in a few seconds. But Audrey, what is the process? And then Ola will check in with you about just pulling the whole event together to celebrate Rob and the art. And the type of person Rob is, it is about the art. So it's the community celebration. But Audrey, why Rob?
Yeah, thanks so much. So arriving to Boston in September, you know, I'm originally from outside of Philadelphia. I just spent the past 12 years in Southern California. So LA area, also was up in Oakland for a little while. So coming in as an outsider, I really wanted to understand, I'm really interested in what's happening locally here in Boston. Who's on the scene, who's been doing the work for a long time. And as I kind of got on the ground over the first few months, there seemed to be no corner of the city that I could go to where I wasn't seeing Rob's work or I wasn't hearing his name. You know, from driving down Tremont Street to driving up Blue Hill Ave, you know, his work, he's treated the city as a gallery. You know, his pieces are bright, they're bold, they're forward-thinking, visionary, and the way that they celebrate the city of Boston and this side of Boston that has been here for a long time, as Rob and Ola have shared with me and as I've learned on the ground here, but doesn't always get visibilized or get the kind of centering that it needs, especially the history of Black and Brown communities here in Boston. So I felt that was really important. I think that, you know, the impact that Rob has had not only on visual and culture in Boston, but also nationally when he traveled to Detroit with Blackout, and also the impact he's had on young folks here in the city of Boston. For me, I feel like,
us old folks.
Yeah, so multiple generations. You know, that I think he's really showing us what artists can be and do for communities, you know, not only tenaciously working away on their own practice, but really giving back and sustaining, nurturing communities, multiple generations. And that is what artists can do for us. And so I think that's really important. Finally, you know, there's a whole conversation of Black portraiture going on across the country right now. There are major shows happening in major museums.
I'm sorry, what is the term you use? Black what?
Black portraiture. So painting portraits of Black folks, right? Especially by Black artists. There was a huge show at the Whitney this past year. And Rob is in that conversation. He's on that wave with everyone and he's doing it in his own way here in Boston. And so I think that this is the time, this is the moment. You know, it's been at the Greenway, we're so grateful to have been able to work with Rob as the first Boston native artist here on the wall. And I think, beginning to establish those relationships with local artists, local communities, in ways that maybe the Greenway has begun in the past, but to really do it in an authentic and reciprocal way with a long-term vision of creating those relationships over time.
Absolutely. I want to walk away with one thing that we want to censor, and I don't know if anyone has ever said it, but you said that the city is Rob's gallery. That's crazy. And I don't want to say it because the city itself, I don't want to say that limits, but his stamp is everywhere. And it takes me back to, the times of graffiti, props is on and whatnot, graffiti artists and putting their mark out there. We can talk a little bit more about that in a second. But Ola, so celebrating Rob and working with the Greenway, what are we looking forward to tomorrow on the 25th? You all had to cancel it, sensitivity to the weather. What is going on tomorrow?
Yes, I mean, I'm definitely not going to take full credit because I definitely have a wonderful team to help put this together. But yes, a day of wonderful fun, family, just a whole uniteness of being able to celebrate someone that we respect so much in the neighborhood and in our city. Hope you can hear my son snoring in the background, but
Yeah. Let him rest. Let him rest.
I mean, to me, pretty much it just sets the tone. We're going to have some performances. The big highlight is that having Derek, who's part owner of Chez Rouge, to have him be highlighted for this big event. It just puts the whole thing together, especially with the whole mirror of your beautiful daughter that shine out there with the whole Adidas thing. So you can see the whole age era just coming out. So hopefully people may wear their tracksuits. It might be too hot, but you know what I mean, creatively. So be able to imagine being able to roller skate. You have Bakari JB performing, Chantel C, who's also a local performer, Cape Verdean descent. You have Amanda Shea, who's our host,
Yes.
who loves to roller skate. Yep. And she's basically going to be
very,
the
let's
vibes.
just say very bubbly.
Mhm.
We'll leave that there.
Who else? And then yes, we have food trucks. We also have a Marilyn Sobek is going to be one of the feature artists doing his thing, which is probably a great understudy of pro-Black over there. And we have the Rockspace Children's Services, who's going to have the mobile music studio. We have a few other community vendors, Audacity Building, who is basically looking to educate folks about health and wellness and about a green pod that she's doing. So I'm kind of butchering that. And then who else? We have, I think, Love Couture, which is another vendor who's going to be selling some nice African cultural clothes and some earrings I get from her. And yes, Audrey, help me out if I'm blanking out here.
A Tribe Called Funk.
Yes, thank you.
He'll be there
Yes,
as well.
our brother is Tribe Called Funk. Yes.
All right. So we're Rob. The when you got the call, what was the process for you? And I think I saw you put a post up a few weeks ago, or something in reference to doing that. What was the process for you from the call to where we're going to land tomorrow?
Whew. It was back in December when Audrey had reached out, and it was one of those times that I was fortunate enough to check my email and my DMs, because usually it's flooded, you know what I mean? And Audrey's put out, she had asked if she can do a studio visit, and I invited her to the open studios at Artists for Humanity, where if you're gonna get to see me, see what I'm about, see what is my everyday in and out. And Artists for Humanity is an organization I co-founded with 6 other brothers and our executive director way back in the 90s, you know what I mean? Like 30 years ago. So to invite somebody into my home where, my life work happens, it was only natural to then lead to what was next, because I currently don't have a studio space, but this is where I'm at. And I feel like I'm in the water. That's just where the work is. That's where I'm at with the teens. And so if I had to call that a studio, it's a different type of studio. It's where like I'm investing into the future and, people that are current and things of that nature. From that meeting, we had a lunch that Friday, and that's when, Audrey hit me with Audrey and Sheila came through and hit me with the ooh wee. It was a nice lunch, you know what I mean?
Hit you with the what? Hit you with the what? Ooh-wee?
And the only reason why I say it's the ooh because I'll keep it transparent with everybody online, man. Like for everything that we've been doing up until the point where like you don't really understand if you being seen or heard, to get asked to rock on one of the biggest walls in the city. It was like, damn, all that hard work, finally somebody like seen what was up. And it was instant tears, you know what I mean? And it was just tears because I knew that like, all right, it's on now.
Yes,
You know, if I had it, I didn't have to leave home to do it. You know, I traveled places, I represented the city, but like to have the opportunity to get on what people are coined to be like the face of the city, I was like, I'm gonna take my time and put an image on there that's gonna point you to the heart and know where we're coming from.
Who is the image?
The image is of my daughter, man. Little B. She's a daddy's little helper. So there's I do this wild dad thing where I have her pose with this boom box that I've grown up with my family. It's like a family heirloom on some hip hopness, and I have her pose with it every year just to show her growth. And that building happened to call for this composition that is a photo composite that my man Gabriel Ortiz put together. We were very hype about the shot. It took like the story behind it is magical within itself, just the people that were there to witness it, and just the small amount of time that it happened, and just her personality being captured and the impact where at the end of that photo shoot she was like, I'm all done, Dad. You know what I mean? So like from that shoot on up to the building and leading up to a narrative, man, I think the picture demanded some thought to be able to like curate a story that we can just we could put on that stage and not only just talk to the city, but talk to the world, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
what these little help is doing.
Ola, let me ask you this, and Rob, I want to come back and ask you as well. And then Audrey, I want to talk about when you mentioned the long term. Ola, one of the things that I've been curating conversations around is Black spaces, and being out in the open and art. And this is Black Music Month. And I was trying to get ready, but it got by so quick to do like an arts and activism sort of panel. How important as a Black woman here in Boston that curates spaces, that moves in art, how important is it that what Rob just said is taking place at this time now?
I'm just making
Listen, you're a mother first.
I know.
This is Freestyle Friday, so if he need to come on the camera or whatever, just do what you gotta do.
I was like, Lord, it's loud.
Something, of course.
Yes. I mean, exactly. That's like the first thing. It's like we're parents or in the future of embracing our children. And this is like a beautiful thing for me. When I found out that he was going to be the commissioned artist, I was like, yes. I was like, Boston is changing. I was like, this is what we're talking about. I mean, it's exciting. Even for me as a Black woman, it's hard to maneuver in certain things or get your own people to actually believe in you. And I feel like as a person who just does things, it's like you don't really follow, you just kind of lead the way. Not kind of, you are leading the way. And this is like a great example that he set the tone for a lot of artists who probably are memorizing to do or be on this platform or on this big screen. And I feel like you just set history for Boston, especially for people of color all over. Just to imagine to see your art up there, because now you have something to tell a story and look back and tell your children. And I feel like that's just a powerful piece. And even though we are working towards the better good for our city, but the fact that Audrey came and believed in you and was like, yes, we're going to make this happen. And that showed a lot. And this is what we're going to see tomorrow in the celebration. We're going to see people coming, gathering together, embracing what we've been waiting for a long, long time in our own city. I mean, I think that's like the best I can say. And this has also set a platform for me. And I am so grateful to be a part of this whole journey and making sure that this actually comes into fruition for you and for us. So, yeah.
Audrey, let me ask you this, because your familiarity with Rob's work is one thing. And let's just, I know systems and whatnot. You had to go back and make a presentation to the Greenway Committee, the board or whatever. And, Boston is changing, but it hasn't changed yet. And the fact that we're implying that there's change in this manner means that some things weren't so cool in the past. Why was it so important for the Greenway to commission this Black artist? And I'm thinking of this as we speak in real time. With all due respect to Rob being a Black artist and our Blackness, Rob's an artist. Who he's Black first and an artist, but I don't want to give an impression of pigeonholing because he's a Black artist. He's an artist first, is talented, that is Black. He's Black first too, but you kind of know what I'm saying. That why was it important to ensure that and it's presumption. It could be you, it could have been the Greenway. Tell us about how you got to the process to ensuring that this Black man's art was represented, and that is representing the city, as he said when you first come in. Tell us about that process for the Greenway.
Yeah, absolutely. So, coming in from the outside, learning about the kind of landscape here of arts and culture in Boston, several folks here at the Greenway were well aware of Rob's work and other Black artists in the city. And I think that this has been moving in this direction for a while at the Greenway, of wanting to connect with local artists as well as international and national artists. And I think Rob's work, the fact that, it's connected to youth, it's intergenerational, right? It resonates across generations, across ages. It inspires, it provides hope. And I think this piece specifically asks people to engage in a little bit more complex of a way, right? So it's not the same as painting in Roxbury or Dorchester. It is in, basically the financial district of Boston. And that is an important conversation to bring up there. And I think Rob, as an artist, manages that so expertly and beautifully, right? Really inviting people into that dialogue, asking them to think about it. And that's a really delicate balance to hit as an artist. And I think that was one of the things that drew me into his practice. As far as commissioning him for this work, he's really inviting people in. And I can't tell you how many families and young kids I've seen stop in front of the mural and take pictures, across, racial identities, across ethnicities, across ages. There was this older man who worked for MassDOT out there who was like, I come out here every day on my break and I watch this process. This is amazing. He asked me to take a picture with his cell phone, and on his cell phone is a picture of his granddaughter. So it just hits people across categories. And I think that as an artist, Rob's work does that. And so I think that's really what hit home with us.
Rob, what do you want folks in? I know you're intentional. When you were thinking about it, because it's not a straight wall, it has a little curve, which I think worked out for the imagery. What do you want people to walk away with at their first thing that comes to your mind, sir? First impression when they see it, what do you want them to walk away with?
I want them to walk away with the idea that, we belong here. This is yours. I want the children to be like, this is normal. This is where I'm supposed to be. The word intrinsic is the word that I think of when it comes down to that spot in the Greenway. Like when you see it, it's like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be here. That's the first and most practical thing that I wanted folks to remember. But then when I dive deeper into the visual and get poetic,
yes, sir,
you have a little girl who's pointing you to the heart of the city, but she's crouching down to look at you in the space and let you know that she sees you. Just imagine when she stands up, she's just as tall as all the other buildings that are surrounding it. So there's all type of things in that area that I want people to challenge themselves to look at from different vantage points.
A couple examples. Give me a couple examples of you want folks to challenge themselves when they look at that.
There was a lot of conversation about, well, are you going to color the picture? And I was like, there's 14 shades of gray up there. But I wanted the area to frame the composition in such a way that it played and complemented to all the greenery and the other buildings that are around it. It was respect for the architecture. Understand what that building does for the city as it's literally breathing life into that area. The title is interactive. It's Breathe Life Together or Breathe Life to Get Her. when you break it down into like syllables. I'm digging in my Wu-Tang bag.
Come on.
There's all type of things where like the story's deeper than what people could basically understand, and I want you to be able to have like it doesn't matter how far away you are when you see her. It looks like she's peeking over to invite you into the space, but the closer you get, the more natural it falls. The composition was very demanding, and I felt like we hit the mark. And then the closer you get, it is detail oriented, like to the max, like down to the stitching in the midsole of the sneaker. If the size was there, it demanded that type of attention. And the most important part, I wanted people to see how the mural was orchestrated with people who were from here, with my team, that were all like brothers in the band, like family members. And if I had to describe this in such a way, this is a home cooked meal. So what you're about to get on Saturday is just a piece of just even how I grew up in a city where like I'm raised as Chevu. You know what I'm saying? Derek's family has a legacy that raised the entire city of Boston.
Yes, sir.
People abroad. Ola being able to sit here and just coordinate this magic is a champion of champions, because like all we wanted to do was worry about delivering this painting and then just walking back and letting families enjoy everybody that's coming through. You know what I'm saying? Like come through and enjoy it, you know. And Audrey for braving what's about to happen, yo.
You know, to your point, it is going to be so interesting tomorrow. And I don't know if you ever heard, I know you know Brother Conan Harris. That's sort of his saying, and I can't say it without imitating his voice. We belong everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's real, brother. And I think there is Ola. I like what you said and acknowledge that the city is changing, but we still have, I say, a canyon, not room to grow. We got a canyon to grow. But Rob, I want to go back before we go on and get ready to. It's 8:30 now, and I told y'all 8:30, but this is just so good and so much to get out of you. Rob, I actually want to ask you to close it out. Ola, I know this is not the only thing. Where do you see Boston going with Black art? Yeah, let it come. I saw that exhale. Come here. Come on.
I mean, I don't really have an answer, because our city is a very interesting place to be. I mean, things change. I hate to use that word, but there's always something vibrant about it. And I feel like there are certain individuals who will make way to make noise, to give voice. And we just need to still amplify that in every way we can. And that's the way, I don't know, I'm like a visionary and I just feel things. By this just sets the tone for any artist to come. And I'm just looking forward to hear and see what's next and how we sustain all of this. You know, public art has become really big in Boston compared to other cities. And I would just love to continue to make sure that we're not just looking at it as like a poster. We're actually going to document it. We're going to continue series and have conversations, like you said, and really analyze the work so people can really understand what Black art, what Black people, and who we are in general. And I think that right there starts the conversation for anything else to take place here and everywhere.
One of the things, Rob, to keep in your mind is that when you were talking, and I'm going to ask you to close it out, but I'm asking you to add something in here. There's a science. If you heard him in his last segment, and props, because sometimes he'll start talking to me, and thanks to him, I will never look at an ad the same way again. I'll never look at a picture the same way again. I never look at lighting the same way again. So I want you to acknowledge that in your closing. Audrey, where, you know, entities like the Greenway and the foundations and that put resources behind this, and I get a sense from you, this is more than just writing a check. There's sort of a philosophical commitment. What is the Greenway's commitment? Like Rob just mentioned that he doesn't have a studio. So how can the Greenway, if he wants a, you know, regular one or whatever, how can entities like the Greenway and all these wonderful foundations and philanthropists and folks that are going to ride by and take pictures and love it and whatnot, how can entities that have these type of resources, you know, with a line through that S in there, how can they be more genuinely proactive in a genuine space to do things like the Greenway is doing? Put you're on mute.
Thanks so much. Yeah, that's a great question, and that's important. And I think that's where the kind of long-term relationship building comes in, right? I think Rob and I knew from the very beginning when we started this that this wasn't just going to end at the wall, right? It's not just putting up a piece and letting it sit there. It's activating it. It's building relationships, not only with Rob, but with the whole GN crew, like Gio, gosh, now I'm nervous. Lee, Lewis, like all of them, it's been building relationships with them. And through those conversations that we've had, not only me, but everybody who's come out to the wall through this process, right? Like, it's been such a wonderful interactive space to build out those relationships, to have conversations about how can we better comprehensively support artists here in Boston, right? Is it grant writing? Is it knowing when the grants are open? Is it figuring out studio space, right? Is it partnering up? Is it making those connections? Like, all of those kinds of things are intangible, which I think are important, and it's important to put money behind it. You know, just like we're saying, to materially resource people so that they can realize those visions, right? So that they can make those big things happen. One example at the Greenway moving forward, I would love to have a curatorial fellowship and an artist fellowship that are dedicated to local artists here in Boston. And that's something that I feel like, you know, moving forward, Rob and GN crew and I can really have conversations about, and Ola, and we can shape that moving forward so it does meet the needs of artists here in Boston, specifically Black and Brown artists.
How well, I don't want to get political, Jesus, but is arts, events, and tourism, are they playing friendly and working wonderful with you from the city?
Absolutely. We've had such amazing partnership and support across the board, not only from the Greenway, but all of our neighbors down here in the downtown area.
Okay. And are you connected with Mike Bobbitt from the state?
You know, I just saw him present over at the Embrace Ideas Festival.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
you were there?
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. That was amazing. So shout out. That was an amazing festival. I just want to say
Rob was on. Yeah.
Rob
He was on the panel.
Yeah.
And so with that, Rob, I want you to close it out. Oh, there's so much, man, I'm about to ask you to do. Speak to young artists. What are you looking for from us to support you in general and tomorrow? And I guess maybe start with the point I was making before when you were talking a few minutes ago, talked about the composition, the 14 shades of gray and all this other stuff. Sometimes artists are all quickly or misled and classified as, these, touchy-feely and blah, blah, blah. And people don't regard the science, leave me alone. They don't regard the science. And it makes me think of us back with the pyramids and everything that had to go into what we constructed back in Africa. So when I was listening to you, I'm like, there's a science behind this. What's the science behind your artistry?
Oh man, it's not even a top secret, and it's so nascent, it's so natural that like I think we overlook the most basic thing, and it's to do what you feel, but like to trigger that love. You know what I mean? If there's a science behind or the alchemy behind love, if there's anything that you always remember what you see, but you never forget how you feel. So if there's a reason or a thing that you can spark that feeling, I feel like that's one of the special ingredients to just about half of what I do. I'm just a reflection of the light that's around me. And I grew up in Roxbury. So, you know what I mean? There's one of those things that like, I let people know that we're here, but I'm not standing on the soapbox just preaching. I'd rather show you better than I can tell you, because whatever I thought became an action, whatever my action defined my character. And I'm a mirror image of what my family and my family upbringing was, to be prepared to speak in this capacity, on down to just being the most important thing that I've reached in my whole artistry, which is being a father.
Sir.
That creation of life is a responsibility that, like, when they say it takes a village, you know what I mean? You really totally understand that definition when you're a parent. And even if you're not a parent, you got folks that are like-minded that want to help on that crusade, because it is about the investment in our children and knowing that the future's in their hands. So if we're going to make a better place for them to grow up in, to have it be more comprehensive and let them be the results of our dreams, then how could we do that? And I found my part in just being visual, you know, laying it down, letting the graffiti do what it does, knowing that I have a skill set that can get me around the world, but I can never neglect the city and showcasing that not only that we're here, but that, you know, we got something to say, man. We got something to say. I'm just doing what I'm a part of, man. I'm one of a million in here, man. You know, so dig into what we're able to do, you know, jump into our stories. Like I was telling Audrey, really tapping into that fourth dimension so you can continue that narrative. That's what's going to help it live on. And then getting with each other so when the resources get in front of us, we know exactly what to do with it and not have it be a first time or, you know, be weird. Like it's about just keeping this practice going, consistency.
And that's the thing. As you were saying it, I was thinking that it's not a one and done. And just as I was saying to Audrey, not just writing a quick check and moving on. Ola, did you have something to say? I saw you put your finger up. Or that was the amen finger. You agree?
Yeah, it was the amen finger. Yes, everything we're all talking about right now is sustainability. Yes,
all of that and more. And that is one of the things that is important. And I know, Audrey, you know, you move in spaces to where you can pass on the message about sustainability. So we appreciate that advocacy there. Folks, don't forget tomorrow, the 25th, I believe it's at 11 a.m. I tried to get the thing up, but we're taking the laptop to the ICA last night. My computer's not acting right, so I can't show the flyer. But it's at 11 tomorrow, 12.
2 to 8.
2 to 8. We're going to be out there at night. So, all right. So y'all that were out at the ICA last night with me, go out right down the street, up the street to the Greenway, 2 to 8. You'll be able to skate. There'll be food trucks there. And again, it's a time we'll see the wonderful artistry. And I mean, you last few weeks, couple of months, you can't help but see it when you ride by. But come for family, come for networking, come to meet this young man and this team and Audrey as well, and just show the support, because it gives Audrey the ability to go back and say, hey, you all would not believe what happened on the Greenway, because the Greenway hasn't always been a place where things like tomorrow's event is going to happen in a most welcoming manner. Not the entity, the area and the Greenway itself. And so, as Conan says, we belong everywhere, and we're going to be there tomorrow. Oh, Jesus, I'm popping in here sometime tomorrow. Jesus, Lord, there's just so much going on. But I really appreciate the three of you coming. Ola, we kind of pulled this together at the last minute, but thank you so much for making it happen. Rob, I can't wait to sit with you kind of one-on-one and do a deep dive into just like who you are. Because I heard you at the King Boston panel last week, and I was sitting back and I was like, yeah, this brother's deep. You know what I mean? So you're not just visual, you're also audible, you're also intellectual. And so anyway, I'm going to go pay some bills, but thank all three of you. And I will see you tomorrow. And Props is on here. Rob, please don't go in the comments, because Props is on here cutting an entire fool. Audrey, Ola, thank you all so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Listen, folks, don't forget to go out tomorrow from 2 to 8 p.m. And see Rob's mural, and also the wonderful event that is taking place with the skating. Let me get some music on here. That was dope. So from the waterfront to the Greenway. Yeah. Let me just say a little bit about last night. I really appreciate everybody. The pictures, the videos and stuff I'm getting, like literally while we were on the show. It was just amazing. There were a couple of opportunities that I was made aware of last night that are coming. And so, yeah, folks. The last thing I want to mention is one, I'm on a Friday, and I'm on at 8 o'clock. I'm not coming on at 9 o'clock. And some folks pulled me aside last night and was like, well, what's going on 8 and 9? And so I just needed to see what the engagement interaction is like at the 8 a.m. hour. And so again, we're in transition, valley of decision. Hopefully we'll be out of it in a couple of weeks or so, but just bear with me. as of right now, I don't know if we're going to do the 8 and 9 next week. But more, excuse me, more than likely, we probably are going to move to the 8 o'clock hour. And whether that's extended or not, and I may be moving over to the website, because if we do more than an hour show, we can have some music and a DJ. So just some things in my head I'm sharing with y'all. So Thaddeus, I can't stand you, brother, because I was thinking the same, but now I'll be honest, I just don't like the 30 start time. I'm a on the hour type of dude. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. But I was thinking that, and I actually told somebody that yesterday. I'm like, okay, well, let's compromise 8:30 right in the middle. So thank you for that affirmation, sir. Put your thoughts in there real quick. If folks are for the folks that were asking for Uncle Thaddeus last night, he had a family obligation, not checked in, but had let me know he wanted to be there. And so that's why Uncle Java wasn't there last night. And as I said on my live, Uncle Java supports whether present or not. So, but for the folks that asked, I was looking for Uncle Java. He's here now. And so, but Thaddeus, thank you, because I was thinking about 8:30. I just hate that half an hour. That's just a personal quirk of mine. But I'm getting ready to go because I'm going back to bed. I'm tired. We will see you on Monday. 8:30 would be better for you, James. You don't need to be getting up at 7 or 7:30 or even 7:50. Sharon Cornelius, y'all pray for Sharon Cornelius. Sharon Cornelius. Sharon, Sharon, how can we help? Sharon locked her keys in the house, y'all. I'm going to go up to the door and say, Sharon Cornelius, Sharon Cornelius, Sharon Cornelius, and your door is going to go poof. You got power. You better go tell that mountain of a door to be removed. Seriously, let us know if you need some help or if somebody needs to swing by, whatever. There's Lasagna saying hi to Thaddeus. All right, y'all. I'm going right on that couch and lay back down. Crap. I think I have a 10 o'clock. Okay. Got an hour and 15 minutes. Take a little nap. Oh, yesterday. Oh, all right. So Sharon, you're fine now. That's your reason for not being there. In that case, you didn't make it to church either. You didn't make it to the ICA or Jubilee. No, I'm messing. All right, folks, I'm getting off of here. No announcements, I don't believe. Let's try this. Monday, I got to talk to Dr. Brandy. Monday, 8:30 p.m. Monday, 8:30 a.m. Let's see how that works. All right. I will see you guys. Yes, Sharon. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys Monday at 8:30 a.m. Have a good weekend, everybody. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. There's the ball tonight. I'll see Naraki there. I'll see Thaddeus at the ball tonight. But as far as the show, and yes, Sharon, I need to get you to tea. Let me right now go lay down and get myself together, and I'll start over when I get back up. Have a good weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Again, thank everyone that came out to support last night. I'm checking with the team now because I was under the impression it cast live somewhere. I just don't know where. They had to sign into my computer, and I got to figure it out. But once I get a link, those that weren't able to make it, I'll make sure you get a link to be able to watch it. Have a good weekend, everybody. Peace.